G'day folks, welcome to a quick little Monday afternoon update. Things are going alright at the moment, so I figured I'd pop out here and just chill out for a bit and talk about stuff, I guess. It's one of those days, been busy, but it's all good. Weather's still good, things are still happening, lots of projects and things on the go. But yeah, first order of the day, I wanted to thank everyone who went over to Photonic Induction's channel and helped out the fundraiser for the Man Lab 7's prosthetic leg, and that went very well. 10,000 pounds by the end of it. I think that's like, what, 1,500–1,600 Australian dollars? Maybe a little bit under, I don't know. It's pretty damn considerable, so that's really good work by everyone involved. Big thank you to everyone who went over there from my video and chipped in, because it means a lot to him to get that little Kickstarter. There's a video on Photonic Induction's channel at the moment, and yeah, I must say, Andy, you're a noble man and very smart one at that. So yeah, I hope Ash is doing well. I haven't spoken to him yet, but I've been meaning to for the last couple of days. I've spoken to him a couple of times now, and he seems to be in good spirits, and I'm sure now he'll be even better spirits after the handover of the fund. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, that's all gone very well. Likewise, I'm a member of the Geek Group, well, not a member, but a participant with the Geek Group, as many of you may know. I'm on IRC quite a lot, and we often run little fundraisers to cover costs at the lab, but just recently we did a really good one to get a young college student named Quentin the Kickstarter he needs to build a radio telescope, and that's another awesome little career or life-changing fundraiser that's happened recently. Yeah, so everyone involved in that did very well. We could use more members, or even if you're not actually a paid member. I mean, I'm not a paid member because I can't really use any of the paid membership benefits over here. But particularly if you're near Grand Rapids, Michigan, and you want a vehicular sciences lab to work on your car, or an electronics lab, or a 3D printing, aka rapid prototyping lab, once everything's open to the public fully, you basically, as a paid member, you can go in there and they'll help you set things up and build your dream project and that sort of thing. So yeah, they're well worth checking out. What do they say, moderate, or I'm a channel op on IRC, so if you see me on, I don't mind a bit of a chat. If you haven't used IRC before, it's basically the 1980s style bulletin board type system. There's no bullshit, no ads, no nothing. It's just, yeah, I think you have to register with NICServ to do it, so I don't know if they've changed that back or not, but I remember there was a trolling issue recently that we just pushed a requirement that everyone register their nickname rather than just log on with any nickname, because trolls just find it so easy to do that. It's basically an honesty system. You don't register an email or anything. So we basically kicked their asses and got rid of them, but it just took a while, or they lost interest. Which is kind of interesting, because I was just listening to a thing on radio about trollology, as they call it, trollology. Yeah, it's interesting to listen to. Basically, they put certain types of trolls up way past serial killers, essentially, which is pretty extreme, but it does kind of fit together when you've got those sort of tendencies. Anyway, I'm not going to carry on about trolls and stuff like that. I mean, I could carry on about how Toyota's closing and it's basically going to be the end of the auto industry in Australia, but again, I've beaten on that dead horse before about the way costs of running are pretty high in this country, and things like unions and carbon tax and just general rules in general, and material manufacturing costs have pushed for companies to move overseas, like Thailand and India, and all those countries are going to be picking up the remains, unfortunately. So yeah, Toyota, Holden and Ford. Ford was the first, then Holden, and now Toyota have basically announced that they're shutting down manufacturing. They'll just be operating on imported stock. So yeah, that's a major kick in the nuts for Australian manufacturing, but hopefully we can find other sectors to get into, more high-tech stuff, maybe manufacture smaller quantities of electric vehicles or other interesting things like that. I mean, there's tons of machinery that's going to be surplus from these plants when they're shut down, so it would be stupid not to reuse it for something really good. Things that people are willing to pay a premium price for. Yeah, anyway, as you can see, I'm playing with TVs and things and The DVD's just finished playing. I was playing Silence of the Lambs. It went all the way through it. Can I go back to title? Send it back to title. No, it's not even letting me go back to title. That's the DVD player's fault though. It's not even letting me stop the disc. It just wants me to see these warnings or something in different languages. But yeah, this TV seems to work just fine. There's very minimal snow. Like if the image moves a tiny bit, there's a couple of pixels that stay flickery for a second. Nowhere near as bad as, say, that one there, which has the faulty panel. In addition to faulty driver chips, it's also got snow all over it. So that not only is the panel faulty, but the rest of the system's not far off. But this one here is a rubbish tip find from yesterday, along with that one, and straight off the bat that one worked. It's covered in dust and dead grass and all sorts of stuff, like it had been in someone's carport for several years. But straight off the bat, I didn't even clean it, I just plugged it in and it worked. So yeah, not too bad. That's been running probably about 7 hours now and it's just fine. So it's a nice standard def panel, which is about as good as standard def gets. That one there, I plugged in and it took out a 16 amp breaker straight away, but I realised the back's a bit more stoved in than I first thought and it's pushing on the power supply. So either a live heatsink or the actual board itself is shorted out against the casing or the back of the panel, and yeah, it takes a 16 amp breaker the second I turn it on. And that's an early Samsung HD panel too, so that'd probably be the more desirable of the two, but fortunately that one works straight off the bat and it looks alright. Made by Voltec, or not Voltec, Voltcorp. No, they don't make Pip-Boys, but I could ask them, I guess. It's yeah, Volt V42 PDP. It's based on an LG. Just peering through the back, I haven't taken anything else apart, but peering through the back, it's based probably similar to that chassis. I will take the back off it and clean it, but it's just another early, it's a 10-year-old LG chassis. So it's not half bad. It's probably not as bad as the Samsungs of the day, most of which seem to be dead by now, unless they were kept in a cool environment or used minimally. I'm guessing this one sat for a few years and probably didn't get heavily used, hence why it's in such good condition. It is missing the remote and there is a spider between the two layers of glass, so hopefully he'll move out eventually. But yeah, that's let's see, let's stop that. If we take it back to a solid image, you can see our little occupant between the two layers. He probably finds it nice and warm there, which it is. There's one of his friends up the top as well. So it has been out in the carport for a while, but hasn't hurt it. That one looks the same. I'd be willing to bet they came from the same place, and the guy was probably an AV installer, and they were just pull-outs from replacement jobs, refit jobs. I know a couple of AV installers now, and they all just take them straight to the dump because they can't get rid of standard definition stuff. Basically, if it doesn't have HDMI, and it isn't HD, most of the time they can't sell it, or they don't have time to sell it for a minimal profit. They're usually that busy. That's the argument I've heard from 3 people so far. They'd rather take it to the tip and just get rid of it, rather than spend the time messing around with Gumtree and all that stuff just for a measly 60 or 100 bucks. So, unfortunately a lot of good TVs get junk like that, but hey, who cares? They are everywhere in Australia, and LED lit LCD is absolutely going to cane plasma in the near future as the panels become more vibrant and faster response speeds for the pixels and things like that. We're already looking at 200 Hz panels and things like that, so image lag is a thing of the past with LCDs. They just don't quite have the vibrance and crispness of plasma with fast sports and things like that, unless you buy a really high-end LED LCD. So, or a 4K. You could go and spend like 16 grand on an LG, I think it's an 84-inch 4K television. Yeah, 16 grand would probably go better on a, I don't know, a Land Cruiser or something like that. Something more practical to me. I'm not going to go out and buy a 4K TV. People think it's excessive just buying a $1,200 TV. But they do make good computer monitors, the Sharp Aquos 3D. Very nice computer monitors. So anyway, I've got a working plasma to do something with. No doubt somebody will ask me if I want to sell it. I'm not sure if I want to sell it yet. But it is a bit heavy just to have as a bang about workshop monitor. I'd rather use the one with the panel problem as just a beta workshop test monitor, so I might end up selling that. Yeah, anyway, that's about all for now. There's a 1 amp 48 volt power supply to pull to bits for meters. It came from the scrapyard. It looks like it came out of a probably a backup system for emergency systems. It was with a gutted mains power board, so it's obviously part of a small backup system. Very small if it's only charging at 1 amp. But the panel meters on it are really cool. I want to put one on the I want to put that one on the computer CPU on the wall PC, because right now the CPU sort of sits between 0 and 5 amps, and with a 30 amp meter the needle barely moves. This would give me a better graduation. That one only goes up to 2, so that's a bit too low. It'd be pegging it and possibly damaging it over time. Volts goes to 60, 70, 65 volts peak. A bit too high for a PC. Again, the needle would sit down there and barely move. I'd rather a 0 to 13 volt meter to monitor 12 volts and 0 to 6 volt to monitor the 5 volt rail. So yeah, that's basically how it goes. I'll do a quick video gutting this thing. There's nothing much in it. Most of it can go straight back in the bin. It's not really worth keeping the whole thing. I don't have room for big wall mounted panels which only put out a minuscule amount of current. If I want 48 volts, I'm getting my Siemens rack mount. It's a 4U rack mount 48 volt 30 amp power supply out. That's current. Anyway, that's about all for now. I've rambled on way too long, but yeah, thanks to everyone on the donation drives and things like that. It's worked out quite well. Yeah, I know I get people asking if I want to take donations, and to be honest, I don't. If you've got money burning a hole in your pocket, go and support a group or a charity that deserves it, like the one that Andy set up for a couple of months to help our friend, the Man Lab 7, Ashley. That's the kind of thing I can get behind. Yeah, and I'd suggest everyone else does too. I mean, the fundraiser is over now, but if something similar comes up in future, or if I get horribly maimed, or one of my friends does, you bet your ass I'll set up a PayPal account and take donations. I'll give V8 Jagnut or myself or someone like that, one of the popular YouTubers that I know, or even just a good friend of mine. Yeah, I'd set up a fundraiser any day, and knowing there is a lot of hope and happiness still on the internet. It's not all trolls and nastiness. Yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for lots more. I've got to get into tearing some of these TVs down if I'm not going to fix them or use them for anything practical.